major story unfolding. This one involves a man who was killed by Dallas police earlier this week outside of Children's Medical Center. Sources say the man who was fatally shot by SWAT actually ran a business placing law enforcement officers in off-duty jobs, and apparently he was also part of the security detail for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Our J.D. Miles tonight investigating how he apparently, using aliases, was able to become such a prominent figure in the public safety community.
To North Texas law enforcement officers and U.S. Capitol Police, he was known as Mike King, but sources tell us that's not the name of the man shot and killed by Dallas police on Wednesday night during an investigation into his alleged double life as a suspected criminal, also working as a security officer for a local U.S. Congresswoman. These images of Mike King standing close to Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett shows how trusted he was as part of her security detail while she's been in office and while on the campaign trail during her recent run for a U.S. Senate seat. Multiple law enforcement sources say King was the man shot and killed after a standoff with Dallas police SWAT officers on Wednesday night. Police say he was chased into a hospital parking garage where he barricaded himself inside a vehicle before he was forced out by tear gas and pulled a gun on officers. Sources say he was wanted for impersonating a law enforcement officer. Sources say he claimed to be one while operating a business called Off-Duty Police Services, an online platform to connect North Texas law enforcement officers with off-duty jobs. Authorities have yet to reveal King's real name, but sources also tell us King oversaw a team of security officers at several downtown Dallas hotels and at his own church. Sources say King drove a replica undercover law enforcement vehicle with license plates stolen from vehicles outside military offices. His background, which sources say includes a criminal history, raises serious questions about how he was able to oversee extra jobs for police officers as well as obtain such a high-level security position for a sitting member of Congress. Documents obtained by CBS News Texas show a person named Mike King receiving payments for security services from Crockett as recently as last year. We have contacted Congresswoman Crockett's office, and for now, they are declining to answer questions, as is the Dallas Police Department. J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
Hello, you guys. Welcome to my channel, All Things Militia, where I discuss a lot about what's going on in the political world, but also topics that pertain to everyday life in general. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you see a video that you like, hit that thumbs up button for your girl. Leave a comment down below because I want to get your thoughts on the topics I'm discussing. Share the video, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. You can do all those things, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, you guys, you can hit that bell notification button so that whenever I post, you will be notified. So just wanted to come on here real quick and share my opinion regarding a breaking news story this week where you had the former or soon to be former Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Her bodyguard was reportedly shot and killed just a couple of days ago by the Dallas Police Department. Now, what's interesting about this story is that this guy was working under an alias, okay, and he reportedly had a criminal background. And so it's interesting that he was able to get so close to the Congresswoman, and not only that, be on her payroll. So it makes you wonder, are these people actually vetting people or giving them a background check or really looking into who these people are before they are hired? Now, what's more interesting is that, you know, Congresswoman Crockett had a lot to say about President Trump's criminal history, while at the same time she was funding or have been found to be funding a criminal, you know, for her security. So just take a little look into some of the things that she had to say about President Trump's, what I would like to say, trumped up charges, his criminal history. So you guys, if you take a look right here on Google, we're going to come right here on Google, you'll see that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas has strongly supported the federal and state charges against Donald Trump, describing the evidence as overwhelming, while emphasizing her background as a public defender to note the presumption of innocence. She has praised indictments related to classified documents and election interference as steps toward accountability and national security. Oh, wow. Steps towards security. Meanwhile, the person on her security is a criminal. But moreover, look at the charges, election interference charges. And it's been known that you have a right to question an election. If you feel like an election was fraudulent, you can do that. That's not against the law. And now we're finding out more and more about that now that you have the former president of Venezuela, Maduro, coming out stating that pretty much there was congressmen and women like former Vice President Mike Pence and former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who were given billions of dollars to block the investigation into the 2020 election fraud. Yeah. At any rate, going down here, it says the federal indictment he received in August of 2023 stated that the charges against Mr. Trump were clear, well-reasoned, and that the evidence was overwhelming, according to her House government statement. Okay, enough of this. I find it very interesting that a lot of people that had a lot to say about the bogus charges that President Trump received were some kind of way involved, if not involved with criminal activity themselves, were actually a part of funding some form of criminal activity. Let's see more of what Jasmine Crockett had to state about President Trump. This is one of the main reasons why I believe she lost her primary. First of all, you were in Texas, which was a red state, okay, that President Trump won. And the only thing that you were about was bashing Trump. That's all you talked about. You never talked about policies or implement anything that could help your district. She was over the South Dallas district, that area in Texas, the South Dallas area. And if you know anything about South Dallas, you know that they're doing a lot of remodeling and things, but for the most part, it was one of the worst areas of Dallas. Okay, whenever you think about South Dallas, people would always think crime, high crime rate, and just poverty, a poverty-stricken, high crime area. Okay, and this was the area that she was over, and there has been no change specifically in that area, but she was on television every single day bashing Trump. Now, as a congresswoman or man, you are what they call a United States representative, okay, meaning that you're supposed to represent the citizens of the United States, not go on television every day and bash a sitting president and talk trash about him, while at the same time you're supporting a party that has been behind a lot of corruption, far more corruption, a party that has been established in corruption, okay, and moreover, not even doing anything to help the district that you are supposed to be in charge of running. But let's see more of what she had to say about President Trump.
He tried to make the case that President Trump is the most investigated person in the world, and he has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing here. What do you make of that?
Listen, they will do and say anything to cover themselves.
Just like Democrats.
I will admit that Donald Trump has been investigated more than the normal, but he just happens to be more corrupt and more criminal than any other president than we've had. I will point out.
Really? So he's more corrupt and more criminal than any other president that we've ever had, like the weapons of mass destruction that turned out to be a lie, like the former president, corrupt now President Joe Biden, who's on videotape confessing to committing a crime, quid pro quo, saying how he had a prosecutor fired in exchange for $1 billion to keep him from investigating his crackhead son. Not only that, but he's on record pardoning several of his family members. But I never heard her talk about any of that. It's everything Trump with these people, and that's the reason why they are losing.
Is the only president who has been convicted of 34 felony convictions.
Convicted of 34 felony convictions, and they've been dismissed.
Had in the Oval Office. So while we don't know exactly what crimes he may or may not have committed.
Wait a minute. How you don't know what he's committed, but you can be so clear in saying that he's the most criminal president and that he has been convicted of 34 felony, but you don't know what they are about? Oh, this is all political persecution. Clear as day.
If you know that you didn't do anything, then why is it that you would be twisting members of your own party's arms, trying to get them not to release it? This would be exonerating. If you know that you are free and clear, then why not say, you know what, release the files? In fact, he campaigned on releasing the files because he didn't realize that anything that he was involved in whatsoever was involved in the files. But let me tell you something.
So let me just say this. If Trump campaigned on releasing the files and he knew in any way, shape, or form that he was guilty or had some form of involvement with that infamous island, then that would be the dumbest thing. Why in the world, if I know I'm guilty in some form or way, would I even talk about releasing the files? President Trump was actually the only president that we know of during the first time that he ran during the debate that even made mention of Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, he's the only president that has even really bothered to even bring attention to this guy and even release files. You had Biden that was in office a whole 4 years that didn't even mention, okay, releasing the Epstein files, or practically you didn't even hear about Epstein. You had Obama that ran 2 terms. I don't remember hearing about Epstein during his term either, or seeing any files being brought to light. So these people are just, biased. And it's all about bash Trump.
It was said in that other email that he had with Michael Wolff was he was talking about if he wants to basically play hardball, we will make mention of the fact that he really has been on the plane. And I don't remember if it mentioned the island.
Let's actually put that.
First of all, he already said that he's never been on a plane. He said that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago once he found out the activity Epstein was connected to. And he also was pretty much one of the only well-known, high-powered people that worked with authorities to investigate Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein is on record pretty much stating how he couldn't even stand President Trump. And it's reported that Epstein worked with members of Congress on the Democrat side to try to keep Trump from becoming reelected. Okay? So these people are full of crap.
Yeah. Understand what it says. I just hope the control room can put this email up. It says, I think you should let him hang himself. And this is in response to
Look at this Hillary Clinton
the
nod.
question of whether CNN would plan to ask Trump in a town hall about the relationship with Epstein. Epstein said, how do we craft an answer for him? And
I swear, I wouldn't even be
Wolff said
surprised if
that,
Hillary
I think
Clinton
you should
didn't
let
help
him
her.
hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
Yes.
That's the full email.
Yes. That is clear that Jeffrey Epstein had something to hang over his head. Why else or how else could you have a debt that you are able to? Now, exactly what it was, who knows, right? And that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. But the fact that
No, that's what he's trying to get to the bottom of.
To be out, to me, says that he has more to hide than him actually being able to exonerate himself.
You guys, this is just typical Democrat behavior. Pretty much just picking everything out on Trump's behalf. It was so many people connected to the Epstein. You had Bill Clinton that reportedly took a record-breaking number of trips to the island. But I rarely heard anybody from that side speak on Bill Clinton. Everything is Trump. Okay, and he's the only president that we've known to bring attention to this guy and to be on record stating that he had nothing to do with him. He was cleared by Epstein. He was even cleared here recently when Bill Clinton did his deposition regarding Epstein. He came out of mouth himself and said also that Trump didn't have anything to do with the Epstein case. Trump is on record saying he never got on a plane, never went to his island. So these people are just all about political targeting, trying to go after this man, and that's what lets me know that he's not a part of the club. He's not a part of the establishment, because he's come under too much attack and criticism. Meanwhile, the ones that need to be looked into are just roaming free. But let's go more into this, you guys.
And what is really the end of a chapter in American history. The final criminal charges against President Donald Trump have been dropped after a prosecutor in Georgia moved to dismiss the case.
What? All the charges are dropped? So are these people that still want to claim he's a felon?
As we remember, was one of 19 suspects. That's his mugshot back then, including his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, as well as former attorney Rudy Giuliani.
America's mayor.
What happened today?
I want to remind our viewers that this was all precipitated by a phone call, an infamous phone call now, between President Trump and Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. We have that in spades already.
Nick, that phone call happened at the beginning of January in 2021. By February, just a month later, the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, Fani Willis, had opened a criminal investigation into...
Not the same Fani Willis that was found to be using taxpayer dollars to fund her sneaky link, her boo thing. Okay, not the same Fani Willis that's now being sued for several millions of dollars and claiming that she can't afford that, but went after President Trump. These people are all corrupt, you guys. It seems like everybody that has went after Trump or had something to say about Trump have themselves been involved in some form of shady dealing. And that's why I say that, they're losing. That's the reason why the Democrat Party is on the wrong side of history, because even with social media now exposing a lot of things that we couldn't get from their bought and paid for media, they still will lie. They still will stick together. That's one thing they will do. They will stick together in their lie. They're going to stick to the script until hell calls them home. Okay, all of Trump's cases have now been dismissed. Okay, and people still like to believe that he's a convicted felon. And then even with Crockett, you see how she can even state what the charges were or anything, but she was just assured that he was the most criminal out of all the presidents. But what the criminality was about, we don't know. Just like Trump said, low IQ. So I'm just happy, that a lot of stuff is coming out now about these people. Happy that Crockett lost, being an African-American woman. I get backlash from other women. Oh, it's a shame that black women don't support each other, yada, yada. First of all, skin folk does not mean kinfolk. Just because you are my same color does not mean that you are for me. Okay, we saw that with President Obama. We see that every day with black on black crime, that skin folk don't mean kinfolk. So I support people that stand for truth. I support people that don't represent a party that has been behind a lot of corruption and still is. Those are my kind of people. Not people that are trying to get a viral moment by going off on a sitting president that's come under so much persecution, a billionaire, prior to becoming a politician, did not need this life. Could have been anywhere in the world living his best life, especially in his latter years. You think if I was a billionaire, I would be dealing with all this corruption every single day, persecution, life threatened, all this ridicule. Listen, I wouldn't have to deal with y'all. I have my own money. I can live the rest of my life and my grandkids without any cares in the world. To hell with y'all. Y'all fend for yourselves. But you have a man here that has sacrificed that to try to save a country from the same party that Crockett represents, that has been trying to destroy the country, allowing millions of illegal immigrants to come in and practically collapse the system. Okay, these people are good for nothing. They're only good for money laundering, stealing our tax dollars, playing like they are about, democracy and diversity, but not doing anything for the American workers. All for illegal immigrants, all for their own pocketbooks. And that is the reason why their time is now up. So that's my take on it, you guys. Let me know what you think. It's just interesting how, her bodyguard, whoever he was had a criminal history himself, but she's funding him to secure her. And this is a woman that has been so vocal about criminality, especially when it pertains to President Trump. Meanwhile, representing a party of criminality and even paying for criminal security guards. Well, I'll talk to you later, you guys. Hope you have a great weekend. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I will see you later.